Okay, guys, more FOMO, less fragility, and no effery. Okay, that's our goal. That's our understanding of what we're doing in Built to Exit. And so when you're built to exit, you're running your business clean. You're lowering risk. You're also thinking about how does this company appeal to someone who would potentially be a buyer of my organization. And then lastly, you're getting into a position where you know more about the market than anyone else does because that's going to help you. So I've got 8 little simple points. There are a lot of them, but these are important. I want you to hear them first. Think about, gosh, number 2 is going to blow your mind, and number 6 is going to also be kind of controversial. So I want to walk them through with you, and then I want you to go back, and I want you to give yourself an A, a B, a C, or a D against all these 8 points, and I want to know how well you're doing in these areas. This is important. Okay, here we go. Number 1, always be out there. You've heard working in your business is being an operator, working on your business is being an owner. I don't care how much time you put to it, but I want you to take 10, 20, 30% of your time and spend it outside of your company. That means talking to customers, meeting with partners, meeting with customers who've left, and really out having conversations with analysts, with people who are market makers, because markets are constantly in flux. They're dynamic, they're full of people, and they're subject to politics and to market swings and to, I look at the short-term rental market. A lot of the people I know run big companies in that area, and they saw the change in regulation a year before the small guys did. And so if you're a small guy, regardless of what your size is, you've got to be out in your market understanding what's happening, because there may be something coming down the pike that can not only kill your business, but kill your prospects of running this business. Whether it be regulatory or competitive, you got to know what's coming, both on the downside, but on the upside, what if you learned something was going to work in your favor? So being out and talking and having conversations not only informs you, but it also gets you on people's radar, because when a company is looking to buy, they might bring a banker in, but in many cases, they're buying a company they're already working with. So think about that. If you're not partnering with someone and they've not heard of you, then they're not going to be seeking you. And some companies will hire a banker, investment banker, what they call buy-side banker, who actually goes out and looks for companies. But those companies are making lists and rankings, and they're based on what's known and the knowledge of that company in that space to that customer. So you've got to be everywhere out there having conversations and knowing your space. Work on your business. That's Built to Exit, number 1. Number 2, get new friends. So a lot of us spend a lot of time talking to people who look and sound like us, but guys, if you don't have an iBanker as a friend, doesn't matter how big your business is, you're missing an opportunity. Investment bankers, they are the love connectors of the industry. They help bridge companies with buyers, sellers with buyers, with money. They're the ones who build the love connections because they make money on transactions. And so investment bankers aren't actually investing in most cases. They're helping a company be bought or a company be sold, okay? And so they're either working on your side and helping you sell your business, or working on the other side and helping someone buy your business. And so they know a lot. And so whenever I get a call from them, I take it, because they are wealths of knowledge. Most people say, oh, I'm not ready to sell my business, and never talk to them. Guys, come on. You're constant and curious, right? You're curating, you're gardening, you're always thinking about your business. You got to get outside those 4 walls to truly grow. So talk to bankers when they call. You don't have to tell them everything about your business. You can ask a lot of questions and stay on their radar. Talk to your partners. Go talk to your customers. Hey, customer, you just signed your contract. What's it going to take for you to renew for 3 years? Or, hey, you just bought our product, consumer customer. What do you love about it? How do you use it? And then lastly, this is the one that people really raise their eyebrows at. Be best friends with your competitors. Because where do you think mergers happen? So my last company that I sold and ran, I sold to a competitor. And I called him the first day I took the job, and I said, hey, I know we're on opposite sides of the table, but I want to get to know you. Here's what I'm struggling with. What are you struggling with? The market's big enough for all of us, okay? And I learned so much about him and so much about his business and his team and his aspirations for the company that when it was time for us to exit our company, it was a phone call that got returned quickly. And so when you know the people in your industry, you can have very different conversations that are not starting at a cold place where it's unknown, there's more risk perceived, but you start talking to a friend. Now imagine that. We're all taught that we can't be allies with our competitors. I don't believe that. Talk to everyone, have relationships with everyone, because the best mergers come from people who are working and trying to win against you in many cases because they see the risk of not having your business associated with theirs. That's number 2. Number 3 is there are a lot of firms out there who do audits. Guys, it's like when you're buying a house and you have an inspection done and someone looks at that inspection and goes, oh, I didn't realize there were all these issues. That's happening in your business. You have risks built into your business that are innate that you do not see. And so an auditor, either in the finance, legal, HR, otherwise, can look at your business and say, wow, you have deep concentration with these 3 customers who are also working with your competitors. Or the way that you're capturing revenue and you're thinking about the cost of goods sold and you're putting in your numbers, it's actually not right. Or maybe you have a latent HR issue that you haven't uncovered. Guys, having someone audit your company gives you a third-party expert who can then say, this is what I think you should work on to clean up your company. And in many cases, those are the people who write opinion letters. And I can go into that in more detail in our virtual mastermind for a buyer. And I can go into more detail again. It's kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole, but depending on the size of the deal, and if you're selling to a public company, they need a lot of validation on pretty much everything. And so a public company acquirer needs to go deep. And so they will often hire experts to write opinion letters that what you're saying about your business is actually real. Okay. 4, hire a mentor. Guys, I know we talked about this earlier. We talked about mentors, champions, partners, and coaches. A mentor, hire someone who has sold a similar company to yours and get them to tell you what their process was like, period. If you have to pay them, pay them. Take them to Hawaii if you have to. Again, going back to anti-fragile. But what I want you to think about is that you want to have someone on your side, not who's telling you, oh, generally this is how you sell companies, but someone who is specific, who's focused, who's committed to your success, and who will look out for you. Number 4. Number 5. Okay, so this is a little bit nuanced, but you guys are so smart, you'll get it. Okay, when you look inside of a company, there are people like me and like you. We're these big infinite thinkers, okay? We're the people who might be a little bit messy. Our desks have disheveled and we've got whiteboards full of X's and arrows and circles and squares because we are operating in the future realm, right? And there are other people who are more finite and systematic thinkers. I call them strategic thinkers. They're thinking about what are the resources required and what is the best sequence in which to align and to deploy those resources. It might be your CFO, it might be your head of operations, it might be your business manager. Here I talked about the 4 different types of management. Abdication, when you give the right job to the wrong person. Micromanagement, when there's one outcome and only one path to get there, which is mine. 3rd, delegation, which is, hey, go do this task and come back to me when it's done, versus leverage, which is you have unique ability and I allow you to do what you're great at. It allows me to amplify, it amplifies what I do, and we get a better multiplicity outcome. Okay, so number 5 is actually one that most of us do not do. We don't empower our finance and legal people to be independent thinkers from us. Now, I've had some great CFOs. One of my CFOs, which you'll hear about actually later in the book, Ken Chow, we did a massive turnaround together in a company. And I gotta tell you, there were times where we absolutely disagreed, but I at no point micromanaged him, and at no point delegated or needed to abdicate. He was a full leverage partner. He worked with the board, he worked with outside investors, he worked with banks to help get better deals from us. And here's why that matters. Because when a buyer walks into your company, what they want to see is that infinite thinker thinking about the future of the company. And they want someone else who's super grounded, who is focused and who has detail and who has a deep understanding of what is actually going on. And they want to see that person empowered and not fearful. Because again, risk-adjusted returns. So number 5, you want to have a finance and legal and HR team that you actually trust, because it matters not only to how you run the business, but to how you sell the business. Number 6, you drive the deal. Look, shoot the arrows at me. A lot of people will say, I want to sell my company, go find someone to go sell it for them. Guys, if I built a car, let's say I built an AC Cobra using a kit for you, and I built it and it was my passion project and I loved it more than anything, and I drove all my friends in it and it was the neighborhood talk of the town, and I went to go sell that, and I found someone who had 20 AC Cobra kit cars that were already built, and I asked them to sell my car. It's going to sound like the 20 other cars they're selling. If you can't sell your business, come on, friends. You need to be able to sell that company. Your passion, your aspiration, your love, the nuanced things you know about your customers and your business and how you create your product, that is a spark that will get that buyer to not be thinking about risk, but to be thinking about rewards and returns and living in the future. And then maybe the banker comes in at the end and does a lot of the process or drives the process. But you should have the 2 things that everyone promises you they're going to have: the ability to tell your warrior story about your company and the connections required to get someone enticed to buy. Those are yours to own. Built to exit is running to exit. It's keeping your company managed so that you are already in the place of knowing who they are and being able to tell the story. My last company, we sold it with a banker, but I knew all the players in the space. I could tell the story, and that banker was a great partner for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th phase of the deal, but that first phase was all mine. I drove. 7, be an owner. Know the market. Where are the gaps? Where are the biggest opportunities? And that will lead you to where you need to go. And then finally, I want you to start smart. The first and most important question you ask is not only who would buy your company, but why. And if you can quantify it, that makes us all better. Guys, these are 8 powerful reasons and powerful strategies that you can do right now. And I want you to take out your journal, and I want you to write these 8 things down. And I want you to give yourself a score on how well you're doing this today. And I want you to move those scores over the next 100 days. All right, love you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here and sticking this out. All right, this is awesome. All right, here we go. Do your exercise.